Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a watch from Tissot with the Seastar 2000. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as a full authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, and also throughout this video, if you want to learn more, purchase the watch and book a time with one of our dedicated watch specialists, check out the link in the description down below to the product page where you can get all that information and a lot more. But guys, let's jump in and take a closer look at this watch. At this point, Tissot has become one of the few leaders of value when approaching the Swiss watchmaking industry from an entry-level perspective. Models like the Gentleman, the PRX, have just grown to symbolize the brand, providing features, specifications, and a level of attention to detail typically only found much farther up market. In the very popular affordable dive watch category, Tissot has long counted on the Seastar 1000 collection among its crown jewels, offering solid finishing, a mass appealing design, and a Powermatic 80 caliber with an extended 80-hour power reserve, all starting at a price range around $700. Building upon that success of the Seastar 1000, Tissot released the Seastar 2000 collection last summer, offering a much larger 46mm case along with improvements in the diving department and the legitimacy offered by an ISO 6425 certification. And recently Tissot unveiled some new versions of the Seastar 2000. The version that we're going to be looking at here today is this PVD coated case version with this very striking gradient effect wave dial. Starting with a conversation on the wearing experience presented by the Seastar 2000, it's kind of a watch where you'll notice its impressive presence immediately. The case measures at a substantial 46mm in diameter, 51.4mm from lug to lug, and a 15.8mm thickness. This is, of course, the bigger brother to the Seastar 1000, and the size difference is noticeable both on the wrist and also visually for any coherent bystanders in the immediate area. And while the case diameter is no doubt large, especially by modern standards, the lugs are fairly compact and do help rein in the case size a bit. I would say in actuality, wears closer though still to a 44.5mm case. Looking at the central case, it offers vertically brushed sides with a subtle recessed hits of polishing throughout that aid the watch in having just a bit more refinement to pair with the utilitarian package being offered overall. The tops of the angular lugs are also polished. At 3 substantial crown guards pair well with the large 8mm screw down crown, aiding the Seastar 2000 in achieving its ISO 6425 status and substantial 600 meters of water resistance. Along the opposite side of the case, we have the often misunderstood helium escape valve with its own small engraved HE signature. As a note, a helium escape valve is completely unnecessary for absolutely anything other than commercial saturation diving, but the valve does help demonstrate the brand's ability to produce a high quality dive watch given the tight tolerances involved, and it's a feature that some might find appealing in the professional dive watch space. A unidirectional lapse time bezel sits tall and is especially easy to grip with the prominent knurling along the outer edge, rotating with 120 distinct clicks and the slightest amount of play, but this is a very well done bezel. Adding refinement as well as enhanced durability, a glossy ceramic insert features large, bold Arabic numeral minute markers in a classic dive watch configuration in contemporary colors to match. Set between 22mm lugs, we have a pretty impressive strap here. This one is going in with this rubber underlining on this PVD model with a canvas or Cordura strap outer presentation, almost emulating the look of Kevlar. In either case, the strap is very well done and a great thing to accompany with the watch itself. Now, taking a closer look at the watch itself, looking through that sapphire crystal on the front, you have a beautiful dial here. At the central back surface, you have this blue gradient effect that starts blue at the center that will slowly fade to black as you get to the dial outskirts, almost having this vignette effect. Another defining characteristic of the Seastar model is going to be the wave dial, evoking some Seamaster Diver 300 meter in terms of the looks here. In terms of text, at 12 o'clock, you have Tissot in 1853 referencing their year of being founded. At 6 o'clock, above the centrally located date window that has a steel outline, is going to be the Seastar brand logo. and then the mention of professional dive watch 600 meters, the mention of the Powermatic movement on the inside. Handset is of the traditional Seastar format. You have the broad arrow hands, very stark in their positioning, and a thin second hand with a lollipop tip with a counterweight with that Tissot T. The lume on this piece is fantastic, probably the best of any Tissot that I've ever handled. And then at the farther outskirts, you have the simple minute track, but one of the cool things about this minute track is it actually is going to have these cantilever indices indices that are going to extend out over that central dial surface, and with that vignette effect is simply phenomenal to look at. Flipping over the Seastar 2000, we find an industrial looking screw down exhibition case back that makes space for the Powermatic 80 movement beneath as it protrudes a bit from the case itself. Through the sapphire crystal, you will find the robust and reliable Powermatic 80.111, which is Tissot nomenclature for the ETA C07.111. The caliber is fixed with a custom solid Tissot rotor that features a wave pattern finishing to complement the dial. Finishing elsewhere on the movement is straightforward and utilitarian, as a standard matte finish can be found on all the bridges and plates, as Tissot has opted to go with the base variant of the Powermatic 80 family. Just because the base variant doesn't mean it's lacking in performance compared to the traditional ETA 2824 upon which this collection of calibers is based. The Powermatic 80 features a reduction in beat frequency down from 28,800 vibrations per hour to 21,600 vibrations per hour, or 3 Hertz, as well as some gear train modifications and barrel modifications to extend that power reserve up to 80 hours. And in many ways have tipped the scales on what many consumers might expect from that entry-level Swiss movement. In terms of testing the specific example that we're looking at here, you're looking at -4 to +1 second a day. And in general operation, you have 21,600 vibrations per hour, 3 Hertz. Does feature hacking and hand winding. Hacking stopping the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve of 80 hours. So now to unpack looking at this Tissot Seastar 2000, some pros and cons. I would say the number one con here, and really the major con and pretty much only con, is just going to be the size. This is a larger watch. When you're talking about a case size of 46 millimeters, it's going to wear closer to a 44.5 millimeter case. It's still going to size many people out. So I think that's one of the discouraging points about this watch. But on the flip side, when you handle this watch, this is a significant step up in terms of build quality and feel for that Seastar 1000, which is already a really solid entry-level Swiss dive watch. This takes it to another level. You get that professional functionality, the lume is fantastic, the dial finishing is another step up. I love those cantilevered indices as well as that wave dial. It's such a defining characteristic. Lume, the value, ceramic bezel, this black PVD case I think is a cool option and actually adds more to further that gradient effect as you see that dial extend out and almost has the case turn into one singular idea with the dial, as that vignette effect almost becomes infused within what the dial is projecting out visually. Simply put, the Tissot Seastar 2000 is the most impressive dive watch that Tissot currently makes, and in other words, one of the most impressive Swiss dive watches on the market in its price segment. All right, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That does help out the channel. Also, if you're in the market for this watch featured here, it is available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. Full authorized dealer of 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the new products that we offer. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.